Hey YouTube, John here. Figuring I would do a quick update of the 135-75 combo that I got set up in my home office. Uh, Finally, after stocking this with a couple of different things and moving some fish around, we realized that this is probably going to be the best setup for the bean eye. I've only got two, and putting them in the same tank together was not going to work. So for the time being, we're going to grow these guys out. They're still relatively small. There's one right there in the top, and then we have one down here in the refugium. Usually likes to sit over there by the pump. But anyways, yeah, just figured I'd give you guys an update, kind of see how it's kind of settling in. Brown algae is kind of turning over to green algae, and the plants are starting to take off slowly but surely. With this lighter fish load, you know, it's going to be a little slow going with the plants, but you know, most of the stuff we have in here is pretty low light and pretty hardy stuff, more based around the filtration needs of the system as opposed to, you know, getting into really cool looking ones. We got some Java, we got some swords and some wisteria up there. But yeah, this tank's going to probably suit the bean eye a little bit better than any of the other setups that I currently run, because it's the only tank in this room, so there's no other visible tanks or fish for these guys, so there's no bloat, no stress, or any of that stuff that I got to worry about. This tank runs on 55 watts. That pump right there is very efficient, so I can keep the water temperatures pretty low. I have one half of the drip emitter drip system set up. Got a 2 gallon per hour dripper over here, which I basically just turn on and off, you know, to deal with any kind of evaporation. Being that both of these tanks, this top is basically open and the bottom is open as well, we deal with a good bit of evaporation, but the nice thing is we don't really have to deal with water changes because the plants pretty much take care of most of the fish waste, being that it's so low. And the cold water that we add to it, you know, every couple of days we'll turn it on for about an hour, hour and a half, and I've got basically, this is normally where my operating level is. When the tank's off, it sits right up underneath that, but that's the only you know, the only real fluctuation that we get in this. These backgrounds are designs by nature backgrounds. First time I've ever done backgrounds like this. We went ahead and we did matching. These are Bulus, the browns. We got a 48-inch down there, and we actually have, this is it's a 72-inch tank, but it's a 60-inch because I was going to need to leave a little space over on the side where the overflow is. So we went with a slightly shorter back panel on this, and I actually used a piece from this one to basically patch up underneath that floating piece of wood, and it worked out pretty good. But yeah, these things are, it's my first experience with doing any kind of you know, any kind of 3D backgrounds. These things don't take up a whole lot of, you know, tank space, not a lot of real estate, so they're really easy to put in too. This one I literally cracked into 3 different pieces, and, you know, got it in there and basically just used a little bit of black silicone to fix it to the back panel, which isn't, you know, ultimately the best stuff to use on acrylic, but it's it keeps it in place without being, you know, super permanent. If for whatever reason I would want to pull these things out, you know, I'm not committed, but that's pretty much what we got going on here. Our massive bean eye. It's so funny when people come in and they look at the little fish in the tank, and, you know, I try to explain to them a year or so down the road when these guys are sitting, you know, at a good 10 or 12 inches. I'll have some obviously decisions to make. This guy won't be able to stay down here, and it looks like, best as I can tell, they both seem male. I'm not real good with being able to sex these guys yet, so kind of have to wait and see. And you know, I'm not sure that I want to actually breed them. I might end up just having one nice showpiece, you know, showfish in here. These guys are, believe it or not, to be the only fish in the tanks. They're super personable. Whenever I'm in here working on guitars and all that good stuff, they're always kind of out checking me out, and not very shy at all. But being that they're the only fish in the tanks, they don't have anything to compete with and anything to stress them out. So far so good. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And like I said, these backgrounds that I use on these two tanks, it's the first time that I've ever done anything quite like this. But I'm really looking forward to trying another couple of systems out in the garage once I really scape them. Most of the garage setups that I have are more function over form. But there's a couple tanks that I think might look really nice if we put some kind of a cool background in there. That wood over there floats. I've tried to sink that thing for probably I don't know, maybe 2.5 years at this point, and it just refuses. So I just gave up on it and figured that it was a cool spot for all the plants to kind of congregate around, and that's pretty much it. Thanks for stopping by, and be sure to check out the Designs by Nature site. I'll put a link down in the comment box, and you can see all the different versions they have. They have some that are super thin, and they have some bigger ones, big root systems, trees, sunken trunks and things like that. But it definitely adds a nice, cool look, to the setup. And being that we did the matching ones, so far so good. Like I said, another 2 or 3 months once this really matures, I'm sure it'll probably look even a lot more connected and together. But there you have it. So thanks for stopping by.